yourself to particular events that already exist and kind of like squeeze in, like you link up with local motherfuckers in each place, or like how do you like actually do this? Like you're like, I'm gonna book a tour, and then how do you fucking do it?
Well, I mean, you're the one that says have your Google machine ready at all times, right?
I do say that.
Once upon a time ago, I was very fucking good at this whole internet thing. I knew the systems. Oh, I guess I was like a little fucking finesser type thing. I'd come in and clean things up for everybody. And when you do that kind of shit, eventually you figure out that asking a question doesn't hurt.
Mm.
It never hurts to say, "Hey, what's up? I heard you're a promoter in fucking Kingston, Ontario. Hey, I heard you own a bar in. Hey, by the way, your bar in fucking Belleville is beautiful. I like the scenery. Is it possible we could do a show there?" Like it's just ask a question, like, or if you know a friend of a friend and just ask them that, like, hey, I know a dude that's in a that's a bouncer in Sudbury. All right, well, let's see if he knows somebody that's in the bar scene. Bang, 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 bang. But yeah, that's what it really is to me, is that it never hurts to ask.
I mean, it sounds so simple, but like we never do it as people. Let's be real. We don't actually ask a lot of these things that we could. Um, And sometimes it's weird to ask. Sometimes people don't like it when you ask or they're not into it. So I think we all have
Yeah.
a few moments, like even with asking for beats, I had to like somebody was like, "Bro, I don't make beats like that," and I'm like, "Oh, hold on, it's not meant to insult you, my guy." It was just like, "Look, I don't want to." It was the opposite. I'm like, "What if I don't include you?" And he's like, you have a point. I'm glad you included me."
Well, there's something I've learned though about just asking too, is showing interest into what they have to offer before you ask, kind of a thing. Like, I like your venue, your stage is beautiful. How many events do you have a year? Is it possible that, like, you'd be interested in hooking up with a band from across the nation that's on tour? You know what I mean? So now you buttered them up and you're about to pour the sauce on, you know what I mean, by getting the answer. And if you send 50 of those emails and you get 5 bites, then you're good, because that's five. And if they line up properly and the dots connect, then maybe you can make something out of that. And then, like I said, like Belleville to Kingston, and as we went down the line up to Toronto, all these small little towns, you might not think they ain't shit, but they got scenes there, man. People
Yo,
go out to
Belleville
events in
is
these places.
lit.
That's right. Like, we went to Cornwall, Belleville, Kingston,
Yo,
all along
let me
that
tell you about
line.
Cornwall. Cornwall's got a decent population of young people that have nothing to do in four
Cornwall's
bars.
sick.
4 bars in the
And my
whole.
boy owns one of them.
Yeah, and as Bonnie said, they've got money and they got boredom. And it's like, you know how far Cornwall is from Montreal on the reels?
Like
45 minutes.
45 minutes, an hour.
Yeah, tops. And that's like, and you're at the location. Maybe an hour 20 when you stop at one of those little restaurants on the way in. Because let's be real,
Yeah.
you see them, you get a little hungry.
You got to get it. There's truck stops in, man, for real.
I love that shit.
But I mean, Cornwall is so close that, like, once you hit the borderline at Quebec, you're like 15 minutes from downtown Cornwall.
Mm, that's true. My grandma used to live in Cornwall, so I'm quite familiar with it. Like, we used to go a
Yeah.
bunch. I remember I bought a video game on a pawn shop on Montreal Street in Cornwall, and I remember it so vividly because there's a Montreal Street in Cornwall, and I'm like, yo, that's fucking.
Yeah.
There's probably Montreal streets all over Canada, and you just don't ever see them because we're in Montreal.
That's for sure.
Anyway, my
Well,
brain.
shout outs to the Maison for sure, though. They hooked us up out there. Shout outs to my boys out in Ewa. That's the Elite World Artists. That's my homies out in Cornwall. Shout outs to Bearded Beats. He definitely hooks us up with some fucking dope beats. They're all my people out in Cornwall.
Shout out Cornwall. I know it's not what anyone was expecting, but Cornwall's kind of blessed. Like, I don't know. It's. I've never like.
Well, you see, like,
Ever since the
for
paper
us,
factory closed, let's be
yeah.
real. Ever since it closed, I've never gone to Cornwall and been like, this place is awful. Nah, it's nice. It's like it's the nicest place in my opinion.
See, Cornwall to us is we have a sister community just across the water over there called Aguasasne. So to them, Cornwall is their Montreal, right? It's like right across the river over a bridge. So they're always like, we're going to our Montreal, and it's just like, the hell out of here.
Yeah, no, there's very little comparisons.
No, but that, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's an inside joke, you know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, it's a good example of the small town markets. Like I talked to this guy, who Iron Solomon, I think it was, and he was talking to Macklemore before Macklemore became Macklemore. And Macklemore was saying, bro, don't ignore the small town circuit in Seattle, my guy. These college kids, this whole vibe, they're going to give you love. They're going to buy that merch. They're going to do those things you want them to do. Don't everyone else ignores them. Don't be the guy that ignores them. So he didn't, and it was a good move. And he got lots of love. And let's say it's hard to do it as an Anglo artist, but if you can find a way with a bunch of French artists here to do a small town Quebec, I know for a fact that as a promoter and shit, you can pull like 3 to 4 G's on a night in like a small town in Quebec. Like, no lie, $20
definitely,
tickets.
definitely. And then